What's up, Mavletic lovers and listeners, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Maverick Postgame. We hope some of you got to see some of our athletics this past week. If not, don't worry, because today we've got another full show for you as men's basketball climb the RMAC rankings.
And women's basketball continue their 19-game win streak.
Also, women's wrestling earns multiple #1 championships.
And track and field split their weekend across states.
All of that and so much more as we move ahead into this recap-packed episode of Maverick Postgame. So with that being said, I'm your host, Jordan Browning.
And I'm Kylie Hoffman.
Let's dive into all the game-breaking stats, off-the-wall wins, heartbreaking losses, and in-depth analysis of our CMU athletics.
Roll it! Welcome back, everyone. Once again, I'm Kylie Hoffman.
And I'm Jordan Browning. Let's jump right in and take a look at all the Mavtastic action that took place over the past week here at CMU. It was a crucial weekend here in Grand Junction for the Mavericks men's basketball team as they were tied in the conference standings against CSU Pueblo. And they came into town. Prior to the game, the Mavs and the Wolves were tied for third in the RMAC standings, having 7 wins and 3 losses each. Playing in front of nearly 1,400 fans, the Mavs started slow in the match, trailing most of the first half. Going into halftime down by 5, 37-32, the Mavericks had to gain some momentum if they wanted a chance at the higher ranking. Coming out of the break, the Thunderwolves proceeded to go on a 8-2 run, leaving the Mavericks in a worse position than before, down by 11 points with 16 minutes left to play. But as we know from our Mesa basketball team, the key to their success is major runs. One momentum pushing streak could mean the difference of winning and losing for the CMU team, and they took this advantage. The Mavs immediately took a 12-2 run to set them ahead of the Thunderwolves for the first time since early in the first half. The Mavs then proceeded to go back and forth with the conference foes until the last minute of the game, where Ty Allred made a layup off his own rebound to set the Mavs 66-65. From this point, the Thunderwolves did everything they could to retake the lead from the Mavs, but with a few too many fouls and missed free throws, CSU Pueblo gave up their number 3 spot to the Mavericks in the 70-66 win. Tasked with doing it again, the Mavs are back on the court 2 days later to face off against the UCCS Mountain Lions. This game would prove to be deeply as crucial for the Mavericks as career records were set and program records would be tested. Once again, leading with big runs, the Mavs went on a pulverizing 21-3 run in the first half to keep them in the lead for the entire 40-minute match. It was a high-scoring game, leaving the Mavericks with the victory 95-83. This is the second highest scoring match of basketball ever played for CMU. Also with high scores was Ty Allred as he recorded his career-high night with 33 points. Coming up beside Allred was Clayton Jewell with 18 and Ben Henderson with 16. As a team, the Mavericks were more evenly tied with UCCS than you would think. With 34 rebounds and 9 steals from both sides, it was Mesa's higher field goal, 3-point field goal, and free throw percentages that boosted them over the Mountain Lions. With 5 remaining games of the season, Mesa heads on their second-to-last road trip of the year to Denver to take on the Roadrunners and the Rangers this weekend. Good luck to our Mavs.
Climbing the rankings as well is the CMU women's basketball team with their 18th and 19th straight wins this past weekend. Going from 7th to 4th nationally, the Mavs put up multiple double-doubles and continued their undefeated RMAC season. Starting first on Thursday in the Blizzard and Bronson games, the Mavericks faced the CSU Pueblo Thunderwolves. Getting the slow start, the Thunderwolves were able to grab the lead going into the second quarter. This did not stick, however, when senior guard Michaela Moore put up 9 points in the second quarter to help boost her team into the lead. The Mavericks continued to stay perfect at the free throw line and were over 50% for total field goals. At the end of the 40 minutes, the Mavs took the victory 71-46. Then, on Saturday, to end their long homestand, the Mavericks took on conference foes, the UCCS Mountain Lions. Last year in the RMAC Conference Championships, the Mavs and the Mountain Lions went head-to-head to take the crown. In a long-fought battle, the Mountain Lions were able to pull through with the win and take the championship. Now, facing on the same court as last year's championships, the Mavs and the Mountain Lions were at it again. Off the first play of the game, the Mountain Lions were able to take the first lead, but this would be the only time the Mountain Lions would lead in this game, as Mason Rowland and her team would take the game and run with it. Scoring the most points for her team in this game, and the redshirt sophomore guard was nearly perfect from the free throw line, gaining 13 of her 19 points from the line. Brooke Ayer and Hallie Clark also aided in the Mavericks in their 79-61 win, with Ayer scoring her career-high 13 points. As a team, the Mavericks actually trailed in rebounds, turnovers, and steals, but made up for it with higher field goal and free throw percentage. The Maverick women now head on the road for their Denver trip to Metro and Regis. Good luck to our Mavs on the road.
The Maverick women's wrestling team headed to Colorado Springs this weekend to compete in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference Championships. Ranked 7th in the national polls, Mesa was hungry for victory in this epic test of strength against division rivals. Going up first for the Mavs was redshirt sophomore Adriana Gomez in the 110-pound weight class. Gomez faced off against Chadron State wrestler Riley Balcazar, where she recorded her 7-7 criteria victory, leading to the 110 championship title. Gomez was not done yet, however, because she earned herself a pin against an Adams State wrestler at 1 minute and 17 seconds in the semifinal. She was undefeated all day, going 2-0, continuing the victories for the Mavs, with sophomore Sophia Cornish. Cornish, sitting in the 117-pound weight class, already earned herself an RMAC Wrestler of the Week award for the 25-26 season and planned to continue her title run with Saturday's matchup. After defeating conference opponents with a pin and 9-0 victory, Cornish faced off against her own teammate JoJo McDaniel in the 117 finals. With both Mavericks putting up good fights, Cornish was able to pull away with the 5-4 decision victory, placing her in first and McDaniel in second. Finally, it was redshirt senior Jaylene Sakona who took the mat in the 207-pound weight class. Sakona was up 6-0 when her opponent fell with a shoulder injury, securing Sakona with the injury default victory and a new program record of wins. Even though Mesa had several first-place finishes and 13 wrestlers placed in the top 6, it was not enough to take the conference title, as CMU came in second to the Simon Fraser Red Leaves, falling 247 points to their 309.5. This is not the end of the road for the Mavericks, however, as they host Fort Lewis College this Saturday in the final regular season match of the year. Show up in your PJs to honor Mesa's departing seniors.
The CMU track and field team were split this weekend as they traveled to Golden, Colorado and Albuquerque, New Mexico to face in 2 different competitions. For the Mines Winter Classic, multiple Mavericks had successful finishes. Senior Kayla Gibson co-won the high jump, clearing 1.6 meters, and sophomore Jessie Schaefer took second place with her 60-meter hurdle time of 9.84 seconds. Other top 5 finishes came from Kendra Ritzman in jumps and Van Chambers in the weight throw. As for their Albuquerque performers, junior Joseph Randolph set a new school record of 20.92 seconds in the 200-meter. He also finished 6th in the invitational section of the men's 60 meters. Other top men's finishers came from junior Merrick Cummings with a time of 6.9 seconds to take 4th in the unseeded section. For the women, Hannah Schlitzler, Brooke Miller, Caitlin Pearson, and Cammie Merritt combined for a time of 3:51.13 in the 4x400 meter relay, the 6th fastest indoor time in school history. After the successful weekend, the Maverick men's track and field team entered in the national rankings at number 20. Congrats to the Mavericks.
Now that we have recapped some of the games, it's time to send it over to Dean Allen with a brand new episode of Overtime. This week, Dean interviews women's lacrosse assistant coach Kylie Davis. Dean, take it away.
That's right, it's overtime. Today I'm joined by women's lacrosse assistant coach Kylie Davis. Coach, thanks for the time.
Thank you.
So let's get started here. You guys getting ready to play here in just a couple of weeks, but the RMAC preseason coaches poll coming out. You guys tied for first. What does that mean for you and your program to be tied for first with such a storied program like Regis?
Yeah, I think we're just hungry and we're ready for it to be our time, and we're doing everything we can to show them that we're the Mavericks and we're here and we're not going anywhere.
So on that thing of the preseason poll, Sadie Shoppy, Heather Hawkins, Courtney Havel, and Justine Anderson all coming back on that first team. What's it feel like for you guys to have such a strong forward in the mix, then a great midfielder and 2 great people on the defensive side of the ball?
I think it just really shows our overall team and our overall defensive and offensive units. It's not just one player on our team. We've got about 31 of them, so at any given moment, anyone can be that star of the show, and we just happen to have people in all the mixes on all parts of the field, and the defense, the midfield, on the attack, and net.
Now, on that midfielder, big loss for you guys to graduation, Allie Bryant last year. This year, what are some of those other midfielders looking like, and how do you think they'll be able to impact the game?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of new incoming freshmen on the team that have really stepped up in those roles that we graduated, and I think one thing Coach D and I have been planning on is running midi lines, and this year we have the depth in the midfield to do that, and everyone's producing and playing their roles, and that's all we can ask for.
You guys have always been a really good defensive team, too. With Sadie coming back, What's that defensive rotation looking like for you guys this season?
I think we have a really strong defense and we have a good depth on the bench. So at any given moment, if we need to switch it up, we have those players. And I think something that other teams aren't ready for this year is all the different things we have in the mix on defense. So you'll see a lot of changes from our defense.
Now, quickly here, you guys heading on the road to Florida, 3 top 25 opponents coming up for you guys. You guys were an honorable mention in that top 25 poll. What are you expecting out of your team during this long road trip?
I think they're just ready to win on the road and starting our season off strong. We start our season not just in Florida, but with a lot of non-conference regional games, and those are really important to us later down the road. So we're just looking to win and start the season 3-0.
8-game homestand coming up after that. How important is it for Grand Junction to get out and cheer you guys on?
Important. We love the energy, we love the crowd, and support is everything to us. And a lot of times we just want to play for you guys and the city, so looking forward to it.
That's going to do it for us here on Overtime. Kylie Davis, thank you so much for the time joining us. But for Overtime, I'm
Going head-to-head with division rivals, the Regis Rangers, in early April, the Mavs will prepare for their matchup with their first preseason games beginning next Tuesday in Florida. Stay updated on your preseason champion picks right here on Maverick Postgame.
Now that we have recapped some of the action, it's time to announce our Maverick of the Week. Our Maverick of the Week goes to Jaylene Sakona from the women's wrestling team. Sakona competed at the RMAC championships this past weekend alongside her women's wrestling teammates and dominated the competition. Facing off in the 207-pound weight class, Sakona was 6-0 over her Simon Fraser opponent when she won off an injury default. With this win, Sakona became the all-time winningest wrestler in program history with 96 wins. Sakona is not done, however, as the redshirt senior will face off in the final match of the regular season here at home against the Chadron State Eagles. Congratulations, Jaylene, for your outstanding performance. You are our Maverick of the Week. Now it's time for some closing statements. My closing thoughts are on the multiple Mavericks who have broken not only program but conference records just this year. Last week we talked about Olivia Reed-Thine and her conference record breaking 2,010 points. And this week we got to talk about Jaylene Sakona and her becoming the all-time winningest wrestler for the Mavericks. Now Reed-Thine sits at a record 2,048 career points, and Sakona has the chance to extend her record this weekend here in Grand Junction. Neither of these Mavericks seasons are over yet, and neither are their record-breaking runs. Colorado Mesa is a school that thrives off student specialties, and these Mavericks show that on the court and on the mat every day.
My closing thoughts are on the women's basketball team, going undefeated in all RMAC play for the season and going on their 19th straight win. This CMU team has been playing on a different level. At this rate, the women will likely host the RMAC championships and possibly the regionals as well. With multiple players recording double-doubles night after night, this team's season is far from done, and we are very excited to watch it all play out.
Now that we have recapped all of the action from the past week and given our closing thoughts, it's time to close the show. Thank you everyone for joining us this week on Maverick Postgame. I've been your host, Jordan Browning.
And I've been Kylie Hoffman.
Be sure to check out our YouTube, Colorado Mesa TV, for more games and updates. We'll see you next time for an all-new recap-packed episode of Maverick Postgame. Stay safe, Mavs, study hard, go to a game or two, and of course, have yourself a Mesa amazing day.